We've got a gnarly ocean in front of us. This year we plan to be sailing some of the most treacherous waters in the world. To do that, it's all in the preparation and making sure our boat is solid and safe. So here we are, day one. We plan on replacing one of the most important things on a sailboat, the standing rigging. Here we are in Phuket Boat Lagoon. We hauled out yesterday afternoon. It was probably one of the most smoothest haul outs we've ever done, to be honest. They had a lot of hands on deck, a diver in the water, and nice big treble lift. So yeah, it all went really smoothly, very happy. We got the crane coming at 9 AM this morning, and we're going to be removing the mast, lying the mast down on the deck in the heart, underneath the shade in the shop right next door. Standing rigging on a sailboat is the wires that keep your mast vertical, and whilst it ain't sexy, it's an expensive job that a lot of people sort of look over, and I feel it is a very important job if you want to keep your mast up out at sea. It generally has an expiry date after 10 years, and Nandji 2's rig, through our records, is 15 years old. So we have been sailing quite conservative to reduce the stress and the workload on the wires. Whilst the age of Nandji's rig is over the 10 years, that's one big reason for why we wish to change it, but also we don't know what people have done, the previous owners have done throughout the boat. You can see there's different toggles on the shrouds. The inner forestay has a different base where it's pinned to the deck. There's lots of little adjustments that have been made, and so we do know that the previous owner also raced the boat. I feel that there might have been a time where things had broken, which is why the rigging doesn't match up in areas. And whilst there's no obvious signs of wires breaking or strands that are frayed on any of the cables, it's the places that you can't see is where you really have to worry, is where it's swaged. So generally when these things break, they'll break inside the swage here, because that's where moisture can build up and build that corrosion. As soon as you have one of these strands broken, your rig's in jeopardy. It only takes one forestay to break, one wire to break, and your whole mast can fall down. So Nandji 2 has a really tall mast. We have a big rig and a large amount of sail area. The standing rigging reflects that because we have two different types of wire on board. So our backstay and forward stays are all made up of the normal 119 316 strand wire rope, whereas our shrouds, our lower shrouds and our intermediates is made up of a different wire called diform or compact strand. The difference in this wire compared to the 119 is that it has a higher braking strain. It is heavier and it is thicker, but it has a 30% stronger braking strain, which is why it's on the shrouds. Although diform and compact wire is the old version, we plan to be replacing the whole rig with the newer version of diform or compact strand called Hammer Pro by Hammer. We are a cutter rig sloop, so there's two forestays, there's an inner and a forward. We have a split backstay. It has two spreaders. We have two lowers, intermediates and shrouds, plus the addition of two running backstays, which we use when you have the stay sail, say if you're sailing to windward or in strong breezes. The mast is keel stepped, meaning the mast goes through the deck and then sits on a collar on top of the keel. You may not realise, before I started sailing, I used to drive one of them. So with the crane setting up, the first lift is to take the boom and the sail bag and the mainsail off and pull that on the ground. The mainsail is still in there because it's full batten, so we just left it in the sail bag. It was the easiest option, rather than trying to muscle it on deck. When we got a crane, we just used the crane to lift it all off. But so it's still attached by the topping line from the mast, and then the pin here, which the lads have already come and undone. And boom off. I've come up for a little boat peep, and I tell you, the boat feels so naked without the boom, so I don't know how it's going to feel without a mast. Now they got the sling on it, it's really good that they're slinging it from the very top of the mast. That'll help prevent any sort of kicking out at the base because it's not a direct lift. So by putting the anchor point as close to the top as they can, the mast isn't going to have that tendency to sort of kick out and swing out, because you really want to pick it up pretty plumb. Now the crane does have a little bit of weight, so the lads are just walking around now and taking off all the stays. So the mast isn't going to fall over basically because the crane has the weight. So all the wires now are being disconnected. You should be able to just lift it straight up. Just like that, master's off. Good job, boys. Didn't take long at all. Now that the rig's down, you can really inspect it and see the reasons why we are changing it. So when we first bought the boat, you know, at deck level, everything looks sweet, because obviously the sellers and the agent, they were cleaning it to make everything nice and shiny and sparkling. But as you go up the mast, that's where you can start seeing its faults. All that sort of surface rust, that's potentially on its way to breaking. Because whilst they were cleaning them at the bottom, you can see at the top here, there's definitely a lot more surface rust. Areas like the base of the mast here and on the inside, we wouldn't be able to know what was going on. Because it's sitting there and like there's a way of water getting down. Water could have been trickling down on the inside, so there could be corrosion on the inside of the mast and a bit of pitting and that sort of stuff that we'll have to clean up. But we've come off and the mast is actually looking really healthy. There is this little bit of salt build up here, with a bit of corrosion might have occurred, but cleaning all that out, mate, that's why we take the mast off. We know, then we're 100% good. We can be confident in the mast and the rig. This is a big reason why the mast was taken off of the boat, was to accurately replace each wire, because it is quite specific. You do have to be very accurate in the lengths that it's cutting, because once you cut that wire, it's not like you can just make it get any longer. So now that the wires are on the ground, we're getting a proper pin-to-pin measurement from each of the toggles, so we can get a perfect length of cable, so which then will be cut to replace exactly the same.
Hi, my name's Josh. I'm from Hammer Global. Today we're here on the Gold Coast of Australia. We're taking a look at the brand new yacht rig for Nandji 2 that's being manufactured by Arcus Wire Group. Let's come and take a look. So let's get into this a little bit deeper. So Jai from Ramashi has given us a full rig plan for this yacht today, for Nandji 2. What we've got is a forestay, inner forestay, V1, V2s, D1, D2s, backstay bridles and some runners. The boys today have been manufacturing. They've done a measure, a cut, a full hydraulic swage on our Wire Technics swaging machines, checked all cables, followed by a full QA/QC pack, including pre and post swage dimensional checks of the fittings. Right, so these guys are in the final stages right now. We're going to wrap this pallet. We're going to get it on a plane tonight via DHL straight over to Phuket. So East Marine and Jai from Ramashi can get this beautiful rig.
Now the mast is on the ground, we can give it a full inspection and go over it. This is one big thing about when you purchase a second-hand boat and you don't exactly fully know the condition of things. But here's a prime example where they've ground back the edge of the lug there. So obviously that's compromising strength and width right there. And generally this is a main failure point, isn't it, inside a swage?
Yeah, it breaks from here, and then the cable starts opening.
Right.
But it's coming here. You can see all this.
The toggles here are different, the swages here are different. This cable doesn't look like it was replaced when the rest of the rigging was replaced. As you work your way up the mast, which you can't see from the deck, like the intermediate here, because this is between the two spreaders. And obviously, well, Joe reckons it could be 20 plus years old, you know? Obviously, this wasn't changed last time the rig was done. So the toggles and everything are different.
Plus, no one sells Acmo here in Asia.
And well, there you go.
Wow, there you go.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, I found a job I can do with Tallulah. The mast needs a good scrub. It's got lots of gunk on it, bird poo, all sorts of things. So we've got our sponges. We're just going to use soft sponges and then also some Jif. This isn't going to come off easily, like this stuff here, so I'm just going to go through and wash the whole mast, and then I'll come back and do a different application for these marks. What are you doing? Get little bits of boat work done at a time. The biggest thing is just making sure Tallulah's happy and occupied, and the minute she spits the dummy, that's it. So I just have to make sure she's got something to do and she's happy as well, and we're okay. So we got the scooter. I try to make sure we do something every day that's not boat work, that's just focused on her, just because it's not that much fun for her. So yeah, got to keep her happy. Everyone's got to be happy, you know. So, but anyway, she's happy right now, so I can get a little bit more done.
Over time, you're not sure what owners or anything, but over time people have been messing around with the mast, doing their little additions and removals and stuff, and you know, where the main halyard goes through and then the genoa and the staysail, they both just have big old holes cut in the mast without any sort of guide or chafe preventer. And you can see here on the main, especially where the rope's been going up and down, because the main's very active, so the main halyard's always going up and down, and where the rope is just, it's chafing into the mast there, it's wearing away the aluminium. So we really need to put something in here as a chafe preventer. The idea is that we'll put these things in there, so you can see there's a bit of a dimple, so that goes inside the mast, so then the rope is running freely on top of that and it's not rubbing up against the aluminium mast. Like, while they have deburred the hole a little bit, it's still just friction and a chafe area, so we want to minimize that chafe. The old masthead, like the old tricolour, pretty much fell apart as soon as the mast was down. It just disintegrated, so we've had to change that over, which ended up being a bit of a MacGyver, making one brand new one fit the old one, but here it is, it's on. Well, I've been going over the mast and just giving like the full clean, changing these few things over, like, you know, changing pins over and putting these nylon washers in so there's no like stainless touching the aluminium mast. It sort of just got me thinking though, like, it's a really good opportunity to figure out exactly how all of the mast is put together. Like, the spreaders are double pinned on either side, but how do the spreaders attach to the mast? So why not just pull them off and have a look? I bet you it'll be worth cleaning them anyway. So where the spreaders do attach here on the mast, you know, there's a bit of a built up of, like, you know, that black filth, sort of dirty stuff. So we'll just take the spreader off and give it all clean. That's a really nice feeling. You can't see any corrosion or any sort of pitting or anything like that on the aluminium on the spreader. I guess it's like this solid piece of aluminium here that runs through the mast, and it's just cut perfectly to shape. I'll take the spreader off the other side and we'll do the same. Clean it up and see if I can't pull that out. Now you can see that this solid bit it must be angled in the middle because the spreaders go up and then they're sort of pulled down with the tightness of the shrouds. So it's just sliding back and forth in there. But we'll pull it out this side, clean it, give everything a clean. The new Hammer Pro wires going on, mate, they are sparkling, shiny, beautiful looking 316. So really need to make sure the mast is looking just as shiny. say that that wasn't a stressful event would be an understatement. Oh my gosh, I literally finished sanding the deck like an hour and a half ago. Mate, what a bloody stressful scenario. But down she goes, slow and steady. Isn't that a beautiful sight? So the lads are just carrying out our new Hammer Pro wires.